Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about grief and the role of grief in our lives. Many of us will experience the losing someone at some point in our lives, a loved one, a friend, a relative, colleague. And so it is a good thing to talk about the role of grief in our lives. I love what Anderson Cooper said of CNN said that we should talk about it more often, and listening to others share their stories about their grief experience of all help. And so we're going to look at today how we can honor the people that we've lost. We're going to look at those who have been left behind and how can we live our lives well. So Kubler-Ross, who was a Swiss-American psychotherapist, she did some studies on research on death and dying, and she came up with well-known 7 stages of loss, of grief and loss. And even though grief is universal, it isn't a one-size-fits-all. Absolutely will acknowledge that, but there are lots of similarities that we can draw from and glean from, and be encouraged as to how we can process the grief in our lives. So the first thing that Kubler-Ross talks about is the first stage of shock, just listening to the news of a loved one. I remember my brother when he was 29, and he was in a work-related accident and died on the spot, and that was such a shocking time to hear that news, and so just to process that took us a very long time to get to the level of acceptance. The denial was there, and the shock, the bargaining, the anger, all of that was there. And so I think that the next person that I loss was my dad, and this was a very different kind of loss in time to say goodbye to him. I had an opportunity to just thank him for being the amazing father that he was, and so before he passed away, I was able to have that time, and I think that made a huge difference in the way I processed his death. And so getting to that level of acceptance was very, very different. Losing my sister during COVID was also once again a shock, and kind of brought up all that feelings of my brother, the shock of her passing during COVID was hard. It was hard on a number of levels because I was out of the country, all the COVID restrictions, and I know that many of you would have experienced this who have lost a loved one. Just that sense, that feeling of helplessness, that sense of just being so far away and just not being able to get there on time. And in this case, we couldn't even travel because of the travel restrictions. So that was very hard to process and to come to terms with, and moving towards acceptance with her death. The next person that I lost was my mom, and once again it was hard. I was out of the country. I'm living out of the country, and just losing her, even though she was healthy. She was 93, and so that I drew comfort from the fact that while it was a shock, the shock didn't linger on for that long. The denial, she was 93, and so anger, not so much. I think there was just a bit, I definitely experienced some guilt, not being there at the time of a passing, but just a time of, I did have a time of just deep reflection of what it meant losing somebody that one of your role models, somebody that was one of your anchors, and just doing that grief work from far was hard. What did help was having family and friends that were local, that could support and reach out. And I love what Julie Manuel from the Kettering Health Organization, she says there are 3 C's. We need to choose what we get involved with. She talks about 3 C's: choose, connect, and communicate. Choose what you want to be involved with. Let people know what it is that you like and don't want. Connect. She says we are all wired for connection, and so don't push people away who want to support you. And 3, communicate. Let people know what's working and what's not working for you, instead of just keeping and bottling that up. Be gentle with yourself. Light a candle when you want to honor your loved one. Enjoy a meal that they enjoyed. Do something that they liked. My sister used to love watching K-dramas, and when I watch K-dramas, I think about her and I smile. Sometimes I just look up towards heaven and I just smile, and to lives well lived. And so I hope for you today is an encouragement to live your life well, and to move forward, honor them, but also it is incumbent on us to live our lives well. So I hope that this was meaningful to you, and don't forget to hit the subscription button. I'd love to hear your comments, and I'll see you the next time.